back, ladies and gentlemen, to the eSports Report. Benson joined by Puckett. It's episode 1 of Road to Worlds, and it's called Time to Prove. We're going to be talking about one squad in particular today. It's going to be Epsilon. They had a fantastic Season 3, and we kind of wanted to just kind of check. Was that a fluke, Chris? Or really, how dominant is this squad? Of course, you'll recognize a lot of these faces now. 3 of the 4 players which placed second at the Call of Duty World Championship this year.
Absolutely. Aqua being picked up for Worlds, joining Parasite, Remy, and Nagafen. Ben, when you look at this squad, who's the powerhouse on this team?
That's the beauty of it. I think the powerhouse for this squad is going to be teamwork. And that was what was so dominant about Team Revenge back at, of course, the Call of Duty World Championship. They caused a lot of noise. They had Facento, of course, instead of Parasite on the current squad, but they were renowned for their uplink plays, their phenomenal performances, and just all-around teamwork. And they struggled a lot with hardpoint. I think that's something which, you look at Nagafen, Remy, and Aquarez individually, they've actually all really improved in that one game mode.
Everyone's gotten better on this squad when it comes to hardpoint, and you kind of see a bit of a different play from Epsilon now than you did back in the TR days. But we want to take a moment and go back into history. Ben, let's bring it all the way back before COD Champs. There were the regional qualifiers. Let's start at NA Regionals.
Yeah, so the story obviously is myself and you casting a 10K one weekend, and the next thing we know, Team Revenge come out of nowhere. We're sat there going, this is going to be crazy. They go to NA Regionals, we're sat down watching them at Regionals, and we were absolutely mind-blown by some of the things these guys were doing. They 3-0 Fear round 1. Okay, Fear at the time, not a very strong team, kind of expected from TR. Then, though, they go up against Denial.
Round two.
And they just take it to them.
And Denial, of course, the runners-up from the Season 1 championship, number 2 seed overall. So this is a really lopsided battle, looking at it just from the seeds. But Revenge brought it from game number 1, and you can see how close the opening match was. Final moments, Revenge shuts down the Attic, they lock up game 1, and they don't stop there, Ben.
No, they just continue that momentum. They pick up map number 2 and also map number 3, Chris. They 3-0 Denial. And as you said, at the time, Denial was a very, very strong team. I feel a couple of you may have kind of forgotten about that, but this Denial squad was one really not to be messed with. And again, this is where you can kind of see how strong TR were at Search and Destroy. That was a kind of staple, as it was their uplink. They were just such a dominant force, and I think they kind of caught Denial a little bit off guard. Coming in a round 2 game, I think Denial were like, here's Team Revenge. We've seen them online. They've, been playing okay in some 10Ks, some 5Ks, and some 2Ks. But now we're at LAN. We're the big boys. We're easily going to shut down the TR squad. But it just wasn't the case.
And of course, TR wasn't afraid to try new things. You saw the Amelie from them online. You saw snipers in play on this map. Nagafen dropping double digits with his sniper throughout, causing problems for Denial. And they were able to take out Denial just 10 rounds there on Detroit. But I was most impressed by this squad with their uplink play throughout the tournament.
Oh, their uplink, it was really just something which I think everyone in the community kind of sat back and went, oh, wow. So everyone else is playing uplink wrong. This is how we should be playing uplink. They weren't afraid to pass the ball. They moved the ball very, very quickly. They understood different throw spots, when to go for 1s, when to go for 2s. And that was really what made the squad so lethal. It was just minimal mistakes. You didn't see them miss many 1-point plays, and you rarely saw them go for a 2 and kind of mess it up. Whenever they went for a 2, it was almost, you felt 100% sure while watching that they were going to get that 2-point play.
And this was really the breakout game for Aqua for me. I remember looking back and being like, what just happened to Clayster and Replays? Combined, they had 31 kills at this point in the game. Aqua, 28 and just 13 deaths. He took over the map. Some of the best slaying we had seen all weekend out of an individual. Meanwhile, the other 3 teammates were purely focused on the objective, and they just scored after score after score against a top 2 team in the game.
It didn't stop there. After they managed to beat Denial, they 3-1, I believe it was FaZe Black in round 3. Then they go up against FaZe Red, the Sys team. That's where they finally kind of lost, and that kind of fairy tale streak was kind of over. They also then played Denial again in the losers bracket, and that's where Denial got a little bit of redemption. They kind of 3-0'd them back. So the plate was clean, 1-1 going into the World Championship.
That's right. So Denial gets the revenge, but Revenge, they had their coming out party. Their 5th, 6th placing at the NA Regionals was good enough to earn them a top seed coming into pool play at COD Champs 2015. And this is where, well, They shut up all the haters.
Oh, they did so in an emphatic fashion, especially when you consider, some of the squads here. I think you looked at Aware and you were like, well, what are we really going to get with them? 3s up at the time we knew were a phenomenal Search and Destroy squad, but TR still able to take it to them. And then Team Infuse had a pretty poor performance in that group 0-3. And this is exactly how the results went when TR played up against each one of those squads. They 3-1 3s up, they 3-1 Aware, and then they also 3-0 Team Infused. And at the time, again, Chris, if you remember, Team Infused were playing very, very well.
Yeah, very strong European squad, and to get 3-0'd, we saw TR, and we were like, all right, 2 losses through group play. It's not the hardest group. This is definitely going to be a squad to keep your eye on, but we're thinking something similar to what had happened at regionals would occur once it came bracket time at COD Champs.
But when it got to bracket time, what we saw was an absolute phenomenal Team Revenge squad. Let's take a look at some of those highlights.
Stay alive. The bomb has been planted though. He's going to be able to get a pick there. Nagafen there with a sniper kill. And it's a 1 versus 1 against Muchilla.
Nagafen with the quick scope there from that thermal ball. Spots the player, gets a blade in the back, gives it to him as well. 15 seconds is plenty of time to defuse.
Coming through, Attach is going to be slowed down, and that's really what they're looking for, to send Attach in right away. Trading kills, it's Remy and Clayster. And we're going to see Attach. It's the business. Facento just coming out huge.
Points, Facento coming in, he's got some help. Gets the dunk, and that's another 2 points. 7-6, 1 minute and 22 seconds left. And we've got ourselves a close game here, Pucky.
It was 2-7. Now 1 point separates these 2 squads, and it's now going to be 1 point in favor. The alley-oop's coming from Lamb. Clayster just cleared it. Facento's
They're
down.
going for the win here, trying to get it. Replay is going to go up, and he puts it in. 34 seconds left to Nile with a 1 point lead.
Nagafen out of bullets as well. Aqua, though, his teammate on the objective.
Aqua
Intercepting it out of the air.
Aqua's gonna
And
go for the
here's
win.
3 down.
It's going to be a huge stop here.
There's
They
1
got
player.
it. No!
There's 1 player at the base.
They got it. They got it. They got it. Revenge. Look at him. Team Revenge all fired up.
And if you think
Little
Clay's a
Miley
hype
Cyrus
man,
twerks down there.
you got to take a look at Facento.
Dude, teams.
Oh, amazing reactions there from Dens to get that melee and get a 2-point capture, bring themselves back into this game.
Oh
Remy
my
coming
gosh.
head to head, colliding in the air against Buzzin.
Attach is waiting, and he's going to get punished.
Nagafen with a massive kill right there on Attach. And Clayster pre-firing, has a player trapped. 40 seconds left. And he needs a little bit of support from his team here, but...
And of course, in that Game 5 against Denial, they finally fell from the winner's bracket. But before they fell to Denial, they had taken out the top team from Australia, Planetronix Mind Freak. That was 3-2. They 3-0'd FaZe Red.
Yep.
They 3-1 Prophecy, Embos and the boys, and then they took Denial the distance.
Yeah, it was a crazy run. Then, of course, they go down to that loser's bracket where they beat FaZe Red again, 3-1. And if you go all the way back to regionals, remember, that was the team that they actually lost to. They kind of got a little destroyed, I'm going to be honest. But they get massive revenge, and that sets up the grand final. 2 best-of-5s. It goes all the way to the Game 5 and the first best-of-5. And honestly, it was a nail-biter. It really was. We couldn't have asked for a better final, I feel. And you guys can actually enjoy one more time exactly how that grand final finished out.
Leading up to this moment, so many hours
And look at
put
the-
in to Advanced Warfare.
Now 5-4, they're on the attacking side, the kind of preferred side for a Search and Destroy Riot. Can they close it out, or sorry, can they force a round 11, or will Denial close it out here?
Attached, looking for jump shots. You see Clayster down beneath them, protecting.
Oh, and Attach is getting
Uh-oh.
very ambitious. Going for the peak with the sniper rifles, gonna see Facento, but misses.
And Attached still hanging back, but here comes TR. Shots going down. Attached is trying to pull someone out of position.
And all 8 players basically on this one side of the map. Attach still trying to find some intel with a sniper rifle, but so far, no kills go down, but the bomb does, and that's Nagafen. He's done well. Can he get away with his life? Yes, he can. 4 versus 4, 40 seconds for Denial to defuse this bomb.
Uh-oh. I don't want to say anything. And there come the kills. J-Cap, then Facento attached as well. So 2 on 3 in favor of Denial.
However, of course, Denial do need to defuse that bomb. 20 seconds left.
Replays,
picks
spot
up one.
another. It all comes down to Facento here. The bomb getting defused. Attaches on it.
He's on it. Vicento, he's gonna fall!
And attach is gonna get the defuse! Ladies and gentlemen, your winners for the 2015
Round 10. Denial seals the deal. They become world champions, but what a performance TR had throughout the entire tournament. 2 Game 5s against Denial, the winners final and the grand final.
So unbelievably close. You kind of have to feel a little bit for them there. They were trying to force that second best of 5, of course, would have made that grand final absolutely insane. But TR did fall. But nevertheless, it was a fairy tale kind of month, if you will, because they go from really just playing online to then going to North American Regionals, playing extremely well, beating some big squads, to then getting to the World Championship and saying, hey, you know, we're here to really play. Like, we can take down some of these big teams. They play second, ultimately. We can take a look at some of the individual player stats from COD Champs and kind of set the tone for you guys at home at exactly who was doing what. Of course, Vicento, I mean, the guy just had a great event all around. His leadership, though, that's really what is key. Fun fact, his gamer tag is actually his last name. I didn't know that until you said that today.
You're welcome. Of course, 1.05, but as you said, I think he was the hype man. He was kind of the energizer of this squad, also making a lot of the S&D calls. He shined in Search and Destroy, a 1.21 overall, his first bloods per game, a 1.3, and then he was always involved in the objective. That's kind of what made this team special. Everyone worked on the uplinks. Everyone worked on the objectives throughout the tournament. Looking through some of the other players, though, Ben, you got to talk about Remy. I think he really showed up, and we saw it first at NA Regionals, but it was at Champs when you realized just how fast this man could play.
And you can see that just by the sheer amount of pressure he was applying on hard points within that game mode. Averaged the most hard points caps per game with 11.89 with a minimum of 6 games played. That is so aggressive. And, you know, it says role objective, but the guy can really do it all. You see his overall KD was 0.9, not the highest. S&D, again, one of those staple game modes TR had, a 1.17. And as you were mentioning, the uplinks per game, 4.25. Everyone on the squad wasn't afraid to jump on that satellite drone, pick it up, and try and make a play.
You saw so many passes from this man as well. Nagafen impressed me not only with his uplink play, but his versatility. You tell him to pull the BAL out, he dominates with the AR. You tell him to pull out the ASM-1, he crushes with the SMG. But also, I think this man deserves credit for being the best sniper on the squad, despite some of the highlights that Vicento was putting up throughout the weekend.
I agree. We've seen him do some really crazy things, especially recently. His sniping game is on point. And honestly, I feel like Nagafen is just a very explosive player. He really is. He's going to have that event every now and then where he's going to come out and he's just going to prove why he's one of the best in the game. He may not have consistent, flashy performances, but he's always getting the job done. And a player like that is invaluable to me.
I also love his selflessness. When I watch Nagafen, he plays for the win. He doesn't care about his statistics. You see his numbers there. I don't feel they tell the full story of what this man is all about. But then you got to talk about Aqua. Without a doubt, the flashiest player on the squad throughout Champs, had some of the sickest highlights. And it wasn't always just gun skill. He also outsmarted his opponents, showing patience that very few in the competitive scene actually have.
Yeah, he was just very, very smart with how he was taking on his gunfights and how he was moving around the map. His overall KD at 1.15. You know, he's dubbed as the SMG Slayer, but he went positive in every single game mode. And even uplink, again, he had the lowest amount of uplinks per game at 1.25, but that's still, you know, that's still a decent number when you consider the sheer amount.
Toss and a quarter, man.
Right, like everyone on this squad not afraid to get their hands dirty when it came to uplink. And again, a phenomenal S&D KD at a 1.27. The guy really can do it all in a 1.5 first blood per game ratio.
All right, so that's a look at Revenge. But of course, that's just from the start of the year, back in March at Call of Duty Championships. After that event, we saw a number of changes, not only to their playstyle, but also their roster. We'll get into that on the other side of the commercial break.